Hello, friends. Welcome to Intelligent Investor. So, friends, today we are starting with a new episode where we'll be analyzing the annual report. So, I just wanted to go through some of the portfolio companies and look at the latest annual report and find some insights. So, today's annual report is that of Tata Consumer Products Limited. So as you can see, what I've done is I have used a software called Polar. Now this software, I have analyzed the PDF and prepared notes for you guys, which you can see on the right hand side. So we'll go through the notes, and in between I will also kind of highlight some of the important insights which I feel is important for any investor to look into this. So let's begin. So essentially, we all know that Tata Consumer Products essentially becoming a leading fast-moving consumer goods, basically an FMCG product, right? Now, if you look at the kind of brands they have, firstly they have tea. Now in tea they have Tata Tea, they have Tetley. Basically, the number two tea brand in India, the number one tea brand in Canada, which is the Tetley, and also the number four tea brand in the UK. Then they have coffee. In the coffee, they have the 8 o'clock coffee in the US, and they have some other brands. We are all aware of the food segment, like we know about Tata Salt. Then we have the Tata Sampan, and we'll also talk about some recent acquisitions in Soulful. We'll also talk about the liquid beverages. So Tata also acquired a new subsidiary called Narishko, where basically they are into Himalayan water. And finally, we are all aware of our favorite Starbucks cafes and their latest, the cha bars. So these are the five verticals which are associated with the Tata Consumer Products Group. So let me just take you through some of my notes and we can go from there. So, firstly, if you look at the brand highlights on the Tata Tea front, one interesting part is all of these are premium, right? And they have gained market share year on year. What was interesting to see is they're kind of rolling out exclusive campaigns based on the regions. Like here, if you see the gold one, basically in the Durga Puja in West Bengal, then they have launched a Jagore campaign related to COVID-19. After that, they also launched a kind of Agni campaign, which actually became the number one brand by volume. They have this Gemini. Now Gemini is something which is very famous in Telangana regions, so we can see a very diverse and very region specific brand marketing campaigns they have started. Moving on, if you look at Tetley, there are various Tetley brands also they have launched. Now, in fact, in the US, Tetley posted the highest year-over-year growth, led by significant uptick in Tetley flavors of retained revenue. So I guess they had a very nice, healthy growth in the UK and the US segment. Even in the Good Earth, the kombucha, they launched premium sensorial blend teas in the US. So overall, if you look at the highlights, they are positive in the tea front. Now, something which I wanted to highlight in the coffee front was the 8 o'clock coffee, right? Now, 8 o'clock coffee, especially something interesting is that it reached 10,000 consumer reviews on Amazon and is now a top 10 category leader. And so, and this is in the US, right? The 8 o'clock innovation contributed over 1 million USDs. So, this is a very interesting progress for us, especially their distribution on the e commerce side. Moving ahead on the liquid beverages part, the liquid beverages part, as you can see, the Tata Water Plus, which is a very interesting segment and it's growing at a pretty fast rate, grew by 53% compared to last year. On the out of home segment, we'll deep dive into that a bit later, but they are really focusing on the Tata Cha. The Tata Cha is essentially the flagship stores where you can just sit and have tea outside, and they opened six new stores during this period. We're all aware of the food segment. In now, I just wanted to focus on the Soulful. Now, this was the acquisition which they had made. We'll come to that slowly. Now, I just wanted to go to the. So here we have the chairman's letter. Now, here I kind of just wanted to highlight 2 points. The first point interesting is they have completely integrated. The integration of the India foods and beverages business has been substantially completed, and they are starting to see synergy benefits from this integration. So essentially, anything about we can expect good cost efficiencies from the integration of the foods and beverage business. The second part is a very interesting part where they are saying that in our international markets we have divested stake in non-core businesses to enable greater focus on our core branded businesses. So this is a positive because having a focus is a very key concept for a business. Now, the fact that they're divesting some of the non-core businesses and which gives them a much greater bandwidth and focus on the core businesses. Now we'll also see what all did they divest. So if we move on, uh, this is the MD and CEO's question and answer route. So I'll just finish the initial point first. Here also he mentions, if you look at the green highlighted part, we divested our non-branded businesses in Australia and food service business in US to ensure a laser focus on our core business. So in our portfolio, that's why this is one of the top allocators, especially because the focus of the management is now pretty much on the core businesses and the divesting all the non-core businesses. If you remember, we were talking about synergies, so here it is. We are on or ahead of our targets to drive 100 to 150 crores of synergies. Great. Now let's quickly move on to the acquisition part. As you can see here, in May 2020, exploring new opportunities. In May 2020, we acquired PepsiCo's stake in Nourishco Beverages, which was a 50-50 joint venture between Tata Consumer and PepsiCo. So, over the last decade, Nourishco has focused on building brands in the healthy hydration space and Himalayan mineral water Tata Glucose, and this has grown 53% year on year. So, we just felt this is a very important thing to highlight. In addition to the multiple consumption occasions with Tata Soulful. So, if you read over here, we completed the acquisition of Kottagram Soulful in February 2021, and we hopefully we can see the benefits coming in into the balance sheet as well. Now, let's move on to a segment which was pretty much flat during the year because of the COVID pandemic, which is the Tata Starbucks segment. Now we can see that they have completely utilized this time. So if you see, they added 39 new stores to its portfolio, which is the highest ever since the launch in India. The brand entered seven new cities. So basically 39 new stores, seven new cities, and you can read all the city here, including a first drive-through store in Chandigarh. One interesting fact is the My Starbucks rewards witnessed a growth of 18% over last year and now boasts of a loyalty base of 9 lakh customers. So the takeaway for us here is that despite a pandemic, the management kind of used that pandemic to expand, build the base, because we all know once the unlock starts, we all like to go and work in a Tata Starbucks, and they have the supply ready for that. So moving ahead, something which I wanted to highlight, if you see the ones which are in the red, are some areas of concerns which I have, which are mostly around the tea prices. So there are two to three instances where they have mentioned about how the high tea prices are kind of affecting them. So if you look into this point, the raw tea prices in India saw an unprecedented inflation due to COVID-led disruptions. The prices have since softened considerably, but still remains higher than last year. Yeah, in fact, there's the next point also kind of speaks about this, which is the plantation operations of the company X and Y resumed operations with lower workforce. There was decline in tea production levels, which led to an exceptional increase in tea prices, which impacted our performance in second half of the year. So you can see that in two cases they're kind of highlighting the high raw material prices, which they have been seeing because of the reasons mentioned. Now, overall, if you look at the food segment, the food business actually grew pretty well. The food business, if you see here, grew by 18% during the year, led by salt, pulses, and spices portfolio, and driven by an increase in direct distribution and improvement of brand health with differentiated communication. And Tata Salt further strengthened its market leadership, with value share increasing by 1.8 percentage points to 33 points. So this is a very interesting fact. Tata Salt has now 33% of the market, and they're steadily increasing their marketing share. So essentially, the strong is becoming stronger. Here they also mentions about we acquired the Soulful. We will see the full year impact of the acquisition in FY 21-22. So as I was saying earlier, two very interesting acquisitions in Soulful and Narishko, and hopefully we'll see the direct impact of that on the balance sheet in the time to come. So this is more or less what was the takeaway from here. You all can read this in detail and comment on what are some of your you know ideas from this. A very nice notes also on the overall industry structure. You should definitely read it. Something about the branded tea market, about the beverage market. So the management discussion analysis has all these points. So before I kind of close today's session, I just wanted to highlight one point, which is with Tata Starbucks. So the idea was I wanted to check how much have they invested, and how much is the revenue. Now the revenue we all know for this year will be very less, but if you look into the notes to the standalone financial statements, investment made, joint ventures, Tata Starbucks Private Limited, 97.5 crores. So pretty significant invested here, and the return on the invested capital here obviously is not there right now. So we can hope to see the operating leverage play out in the years to come if they once the stores getting start getting more footfalls. And if you look at how much revenue they have earned from it, so here if you see 97.5 is investment, and here if you see the transactions, other operating income, joint ventures, Tata Starbucks around 10 crores. So 10.26, and they have invested around 97 crores. So this is just a data point which I like to track because I feel Tata Starbucks uh, can be a big play for the company in the years to come. So that's it with today's video. These are some of the key points which I felt was interesting to see in the annual report. Please comment what else you liked about the annual report and whether you'd like to see more of this annual report analysis from my end. So I will definitely look into your suggestions and come up with new companies and new annual reports. Please like and subscribe to the video so a lot more members like you can have access to this analysis and give me feedback. Thank you.